Hello and welcome to episode 103 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list. This is Colin.
This is Niall.
And this is Random Movie... What number was it? It was 79.
Oh, yeah.
On the all-time Oscar movie list. This wasn't even from our 15K. Next week we're delving back into our 15K, so that'll be revealed at the end of the show. So this was number 79 on the all-time Oscar Best Movie list. And it's The Lost Weekend from 1945, released in 1945. Metascore and user score, I think ChatGPT made it all up because Metacritic doesn't really have The Lost Weekend. It's sort of, I think they got their database messed up because there's some love story, The Lost Weekend, and
there's no way that this didn't exist at some point in Metacritic, so I'm guessing Metacritic in its current state has lost the data because Metacritic's in the toilet.
Metacritic's a bit dodgy at this stage with their database. Yeah, so it's a duration of 101 minutes. Director is Billy Wilder. He of the writer of Some Like It Hot, which we have reviewed before. It's got a budget of 1.25 million and it brought in 11 million at the box office.
Nice.
Starring Ray Milland as Don Birnam. It stars Jane Wyman as Helen St. James, Philip Terry as Wick Burnham, Howard Da Silva as Nat, Doris Dowling as Gloria. Yeah, Nat. And that's about it.
Don't forget Bim.
Bim, you like
Frank
Bim,
Phil. I love Bim. For the 30 seconds he's in, he's great.
He's just like a sage about alcoholism. You're going to get the DTs. You're going to see the animals.
He's the small animals.
Small animals. Interestingly, Jane Wyman, who played Helen St. James, was married to Ronald Reagan from 1940 to 1949.
I did not know that. I completely missed that factoid. That's cool.
I delved into her little backstory a little bit. She was a big character in Falcon Crest as well, nominated for a lot of awards during her career, which was nice to see. It's always sort of depressing when you go through the actors and click on their names and go, oh, died 87, died 79, died 2001, and it's all like 70, 80, and it's going, oh, that's
this is exactly 80 years ago, so there's no way anybody in this list is alive.
No.
Even if they were playing a 5-year-old, they're probably dead.
No, they could be
nice and depressing.
They could be alive if they're playing a 5-year-old.
Possibly. Unlikely.
Yeah. The good innings. Yeah, it's depressing seeing these
dead
people. But anyway, we have basically it chronicles the weekend of an alcoholic, Don Birnam.
Which type of Birnam? What
Don.
brand of
Don.
Referencing Bim's question later on in the movie, which is a fantastic way of asking him his first name.
That's true. Which brand? Yeah, that was good. He had a lot of quotes that I did not write down. I was like, what the hell? He
riffs them off in like quick succession, though. He's great.
Yeah, he is good. He is sort of a very in-your-face support to Don when he's going through relapse.
He's almost comedic, but what the subject matter he's covering is not funny.
No. What did you make of this movie overall in the depiction of alcoholism in the 1940s?
Surprisingly grim and not pulling punches, I thought, on how it drags you in. I don't like the ending, if I'm honest. I think it's a bit Hollywood.
A bit contrived.
They all get away in a boat and everybody's happy type thing. That's the most unlikely of outcomes. And it just sort of snaps around and it seems everybody's happy. That seems too easy. Considering it's grim the whole way through. And he's really in the toilet like he's seen. I have an issue with that part. Apart from that, I won't say enjoy this movie, but I like this movie. It's grim at times. The main character's kind of unlikable, but I think that's intentional.
Yeah, quite unlikable.
Not like Nate.
Nate, yeah. But Nate was the provider and the enabler, though. He was like, all right, have some more rye. Glug, 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 glug.
You didn't enjoy feeding him the poison, but he kept doing it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what his motives were for keeping him going.
Well, he's a barman.
I was a barman, and
he's Moe in The Simpsons. Drink up, rummy. You were a barman. Did you have any Don Birmans?
Many, and you just kept on drinking them.
Shut up, rummy, and drink some more. Glug, glug, glug.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't really have a say. Like, it's Ireland in the 90s and this is America in the 40s. Obviously, this is a movie that probably was one of the first, if not the first, tackling such a subject, and you can forgive them, I guess, for, there's weak points in the movie.
There is. But it's 1945, and I think perhaps they thought there wasn't an appetite for something so absolutely grim as a bad ending to this, which would have been a really dark movie if it hadn't turned on the last 30 seconds.
Well, I believe that they did venture away from the original book that this is based on, and nobody was happy. Somebody mentions it in one of their Letterboxd reviews that it is a black mark against the original book's ending. So I'm guessing the ending in the book is a little bit.
The gun gets used, I guess.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't have the time to
read the book.
Read the book.
You could buy the book and read the last page and throw it in the bin.
Yeah. So, and he shoots himself in the face.
Pew. Okay, bin.
The end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't too convinced by Ray Milland's acting. He won an Oscar for it, but that's probably just because he played an alcoholic, and that was a real innovative role at that time.
Well, I think for that fact alone, and for the fact that it's 1945, we have to give it some credit. Like, it's tackling a subject that nobody else would have at that time, and considering there was a lot of pressure on them not to release this movie, it's a brave move
from both sides. Like, the drinks lobbyists were saying don't release it, and then the anti-drinks were like, don't release it. It's like, you can't win.
I don't see how the anti-drink guys were against it. That confused me when I read that. Like, it really doesn't present or paint alcoholism in a very nice light at all.
No, but I think back in the day they probably thought, oh, it's Hollywood, so it's going to be glamorized and people will probably want to drink more after drinking.
I did feel thirsty after watching.
Yeah, I wanted some rye.
Yeah, just a couple of fingers of rye, please. There you go.
Yeah, I was drinking a Diet 7-Up during watching this movie, so I was
feeling drunk.
My sugar was saying, "You're fine. You don't need booze. It's okay.
I've got something else to be addicted to."
Yeah, 7-Up. I was singing the 7-Up song like the guy in Repo Man.
Yeah, who says advertising doesn't work? How many years later?
Exactly, subconsciously. Yeah, so it's interesting. So obviously there's a couple of main characters. We have Don and we have Helen, who's his girlfriend, and we have Wick, who's his brother. Wick is in the first 10 minutes and we don't see him again. So
yeah, he pops up in a couple of flashbacks, but he's almost an irrelevant. He's a necessary item as part of the narrative, but that's about it.
Yeah, like the first main bit of the story is basically him and Don and Wick are heading off for a weekend away, and just sort of little tidbits thrown in. Oh, what you've been through, you need to get away. And we're like going, what's he been through? It's...
Yeah, but all the while, like the first scene, as it pans into the window, there's something dangling out the window, which I enjoyed. I liked that little
It was fine.
nod. And he keeps staring back at it going, ooh.
Like some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was sort of funky for a 1945 movie to have a bottle of booze.
Actually, yeah.
You know what else was kind of funky and sort of seemed modern to me was Gloria's character shortening all the words. I thought that was quite modern.
I was quite surprised by that, actually.
What's the sitch?
Weirdly, I kind of liked her character a lot, actually.
I liked her character. I think she should have been in the movie more.
Yeah, she was very interesting. She seemed very confident, very strong, but she kind of wasn't. She was very insecure at the same time, which is a very real human character. And she plays it brilliantly. Doris Dowling. It's a great job.
Yeah, I thought she was a really good character.
Yeah, so more horror, less of Helen. Sorry, Helen.
True. Helen does have a lot of screen time, and she is the crutch for Don, and she sticks by him for 3 years. Was it 2 years?
6 years. Well,
Oh,
she's with him 3 years, and the brother's been dealing with his problems for 6 years or something like that. I think
right.
that's what is alluded to at the very start.
Yeah. So they're mollycoddling him at the start, saying, "Oh, like get your stuff together. Let's go. You'll be fine. Just have a chill out." And Helen pops around and says she's going to a concert, and then that's his.
I'll come too.
Yeah, Don wants some booze basically, and
Yes.
he gets them out saying, "Yeah, go to the concert. I'll take a nap or whatever. We'll take the later train." And he spends he looks for his alcoholic stash and doesn't find it, and then
Well,
Mrs.
before that happens, his brother tries to flick a cigarette out the window, and he goes over to the window and he goes, "Oh, what's this rope? You sneaky little naughty boy!" Pours it down the sink.
Yeah,
he's been naughty.
But then they still leave him.
Yeah, that's
we're heading off to the musical.
That's
we're
a plot
heading
hole.
off to the concert. It is. Yeah. So then he finds money because Mrs. Foley, the Irish cleaner,
I
left
was
the money.
Pretty sure you'd notice that accent. It's not a good Irish accent.
No, I wonder who played her actually, because I didn't actually look it up.
Mrs. Doyle.
Mrs. Doyle played Mrs. Foley.
Yeah, Pauline McGlynn.
Yeah. So he has $10 then, so he can go and get some booze.
Yeah, so he's starting off nicking stuff. So he's already down a dark alley.
Yeah. He doesn't have any money. He's a failed author. We come to find out. I like the way when he's walking down to the pub, he's Mrs. Beveridge, his landlady, goes, "That's the nice young man who drinks," to her friend on the street. That's beautiful gossip.
It is. I do like that touch. It's pretty good. Yeah. I think it's kind of the time. Obviously it wouldn't be expressed in such a fashion now, but of a 1945 sort of scene, I think that fits.
Yeah. So he heads to the pub, and he heads to the off license, gets himself some 2 bottles of booze,
couple of quarts of rye, please.
Rye. So the pub is based on P.J. Clarke's on 3rd Avenue in New York, and I went to my Google Maps to see if I actually went to it, but I didn't. But I've started, and I've seen the real pictures, and it definitely does look like the bar counter.
I haven't been
in this movie. No.
I've been in a few in New York, quite a few.
It's a little bit off to the right on Manhattan Island. I never really ventured that far right. I was down on the left-hand side as you look at the map.
Well, I will say I don't think I've been. I did spend a few drunken nights in New York, quite a few.
You spent a weekend there one night.
A couple of fingers of rye, please. Nate, you fecker.
Nate, keep it going. So I found it hard to sort of keep note of what Don is saying. Like as he drinks his drinks, he pontificates and wax lyricals about everything from "I'm Shakespeare, I'm Michelangelo," and
it's a bit too rapid fire for my liking.
It's rapid fire. He goes very quickly from depressed, drunk to he's had a few drinks and now he's good. And
it's like a switch is flicked, and I think that's real-ish for hyper alcoholics, that when you hit the first couple of fixes, then you're in euphoria.
Yeah, I do like what he says. I never really called when you lift a drink up off the counter and it leaves a circle. It's a vicious circle.
It's a great line.
Good. It's good. Yeah. So he says
that no beginning and no end, like his problems.
Exactly. Perfect shape. So he says to Nat, "Hey, let me know when the time rolls around that I need to leave." But of course he doesn't listen to him, and he stays there, and there's many vicious circles on the counter by the time he leaves. Wick has had enough. He heads off, and Helen's still trying to save him, and he
sneaks upstairs. Though he doesn't want to be saved at this moment. When he gets his drink on, he's got a couple of quarts, and he's going to make sure one of them's gone by the morning.
All right, so this is when I first took note of the music. Did you?
You're going to say it's overly dramatic, because that's what I've written down.
And it's also sci-fi music.
Yeah, what do you call it?
It's the theremin.
The theremin, yes. Yeah, I did note that as well. It's misplaced.
Over the top.
Misplaced.
it's so like there's certain parts of this movie where just normal scenes are happening, and music is so overly dramatic, and you think an alien is going to come through the window and go, "Hello, give me some
Gives a couple
booze.
of fries, will you?
Got some booze for baby,
Booze for alien.
baby alien." Yeah, so it was weird. I didn't like it at
Yeah.
all. I'm sorry. My
No,
sound
it's
brackets track will not be high.
it's my lowest mark. I haven't already marked everything, and that's the one that goes way down compared to everything else. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's misplaced. He's in a bar. It doesn't need to be dramatic. He's having a couple of drinks at the start. It's not dramatic at all.
Mm.
And there's no aliens, which kind of
Happens a couple of times. I think later on I'd notice when it happens again. So if you like sci-fi alien music, then
The one place where it would have made sense, I don't think it's used, is where he's seeing the small animals. That would have made sense to me, but it's not used there.
yeah, I didn't notice if it was used or not there. That
I don't think
definitely,
it was.
because that's not real.
Yeah, so let's go with the weird stuff for the weird stuff. Ooh, with the bat and the mouse.
That was freaky, actually.
I loved how fake the bat looked. But then when it starts eating the mouse, it looks really real. It's like, oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
mouse was real, and then the tail was squirming of the rat.
Yeah,
underneath
kinda
the fake
freaky.
bat. Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, he heads back to the boozer for some morning medicine.
He certainly does. Helen's left a note on the door. He goes, ooh.
Yeah, come find me, or yeah.
Don't forget to eat something. Call me.
Call me. And then underlines, call me again.
3 times. Bop, bop, bop. And he's like, no, I'm going to get absolutely toasted.
Yeah, I'll just get some booze.
Yeah.
We've seen Gloria already in the first scene, and then she kind of likes Dawn. Then she's meeting up. She's a sort of, what is she? Lady? She's not a lady of the night, or maybe
No, she's not. She's just a lady who likes to be brought places by gentlemen.
Yeah, she's an escort.
Rich gentleman, I believe.
Maybe. Yeah, so she has a little scene here with an elderly man, and she's just very skillfully just deflects him and says, "No, that's not me. She's in bed," and she has the don't mention, don't mention, don't
It's
mention.
weird. Don gives out about that.
But then he repeats it later. He repeats.
Yeah, in fairness, he's a couple of
trashed.
couple of liters of whiskey in him at this point. So yeah.
Yeah. Nat, the barman, is quite critical of Dawn during the movie and says, "Listen, get yourself together, write your story, sort it out."
Yeah, but he starts off not so critical. He's annoyed that he's there, but he is his friend. I think they've obviously established a relationship. He cares about him, but he's getting more and more annoyed as time goes on because he's just spiraling hard. And Nate's like, "What are you doing? Go write your damn book, you idiot."
So this is when he sort of flashes back to like trivia to sort of describe what his story will start off as, or the story when he met Helen. So he's at a boring La Triviata, and everybody's drinking champagne on the stage. So
he's thinking of booze. Got a nagging in my jacket.
Yeah. And then he obviously he hallucinates the dancers turn into dancing jackets.
Yeah,
and then it zooms
got
in.
A nagging in the coat pocket.
Yeah, it's quite good for 1945.
I love that. I absolutely love it. Yeah,
I was like, weird. Where are they going with the coats? And then the coats disappear, and then you see a bottle of whiskey in the pocket, and go, "Oh, okay."
That's where his mind's at. He's not listening to La Traviata. He wants to get his nagging.
Yeah. So he gets Helen's coat, and
she gets his.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
And love ensues. He's an asshole at the very beginning, though.
Yeah.
Throws an umbrella at her.
Throws him an umbrella.
Catch!
Yeah.
Then he goes like, "Wait a second, I'm being an asshole," and he goes over, start talking to her.
Yeah. And then he smashes his booze on the sidewalk. Anyway,
that's not mine. That's for my friend.
Can I come to the party?
Yeah, because you got booze there, right? Actually, he only says he's going to go, and he finds out it's a cocktail party. Oh, yeah. Booze. Oh, well, I'll accompany you.
Yeah,
but he doesn't drink when he gets there. He doesn't drink for several months, apparently.
Yeah, we go back to the bar, and we hear that he didn't drink when starting with Helen, but then we flash back to meeting the parents, and then he has this inferior complex where he knows he's not a successul person, and
he's a bit of a bohemian bum, really. He's living on his brother's couch, so
he's very Withnail.
He's he's less of an a-hole than Withnail.
He's more seriously of an a-hole, though. He's stealing and stuff. Whitnail's
Yeah, but
at least
Whitnail's
funny.
more destructive. This guy's just
Spiraling.
spiraling. He's less fun to be around as well, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'd rather hang out with Whitnail.
Yeah, sure, he might stab you in the back, but it'll be fun while he's dead.
Set you up with his uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he basically hears her parents talk about how he should be a good person, but then he's like, nah, I'm not going to.
Can't handle it. Just need one drink just to take the edge off.
Yeah. So he gets home and it gets trashed, and Helen visits, and Wicked's covering from him, saying, yeah, he's in Philadelphia, blah, blah, blah.
No, it's my drink, don't worry about it. Because the bottle rolls out from underneath the couch / bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's me. I'm an alcoholic. But Don's like, that's crap. I better go out and just stop my brother taking the bullet from me.
It's the scene where he basically just tells Helen who he is. He's a 0, 0, 0. He wanted to be somebody.
Fairness to Helen, she takes it on the chin and goes, okay, well, we'll try and sort this out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wait 3 years of that crap, though. But
yeah, so that was 3 years, you're right. So back in bar, he says, I'm going to do it, Nat. I'm going to write.
Yeah, and he tries for about...
Types the title.
Got the title down, he's got his name down, and then he says, thanks to Helen, and then he's like, first line. Booze!
You need some booze.
The problem is, as well, not even that, the title of it is The Bottle. So
yeah,
he's obviously writing the story about his alcoholic problems.
Just describe. Just say what you see.
Say what you see, yeah.
Well, this is where I noted where he's bottle hunting and the fucking music is way too much.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's like...
he's wrecking the gaff, fair enough. So there is a bit of drama to it, but it's not...
It's way too much.
Warranted.
And the theremin is going nuts as if there's a UFO invasion happening as we speak.
Yeah, if the bat and the mouse are on the scene, and then I'd be like, fair enough, but they're not there.
No, not yet. He sees a little matchbox for Harry and Joe's and heads there, and it's a fine establishment, and he doesn't have any money, so he steals a purse, and everybody sings somebody stole a purse at the end because he gets caught.
He gets rumbled, yeah.
He gets rumbled, and it's like, that's funny.
I very much enjoyed that scene.
Someone stole a purse.
Fair play to the guy on the piano. He's like, hey, somebody stole the purse. Somebody stole the purse.
Yeah. So he heads home depressed and disconsolate, but he can see the shadow of the bottle on the light where he...
Victory.
And then he wakes up. We have an extreme close-up of his eye, and the phone is ringing. He's got no booze left, and it's time to sell the typewriter. And he walks the streets of New York where nothing is open, and the fucking music is driving me insane at this stage.
Yeah, it's also a scene that goes on for a bit long.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and you can tell he's walking in front of a projected screen as well.
There's something that caught my attention here, and it kept popping up, was 3 metallic balls over shops. Is that a...
That's a thing.
That's a thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pawnbroker symbol.
I did not know that. So yeah. I had kind of assumed that might be the case, but just thought I'd verify that with yourself. Okay, yes. That's weird.
Yeah, no, it's... Yeah, we don't have pawnbrokers in Ireland, right?
No, we don't. No. We don't have that weirdness. It's kind of horrific.
Yeah, it is.
The concept.
You're at the end of your rope, and that's the only place that'll help you sell your Rolex.
Your family's stuff.
Yeah.
Steal your mum's jewels or something.
Yeah. He finds his way to Nat, though, and he says, give me one, I'm dying.
He gets one.
He gets one and says, get out of here.
Get the feck out of here, you gobshite.
Yeah. Then we see a lovely Gloria's at home, because before this, Gloria said, come and take me to a theatre.
That's
and
right.
Dawn's going. But she doesn't mention that, though. Oh, she kind of does.
She does. You weren't here last night at 6:00.
Yeah.
That's the phrase she comes up with. But she forgives him pretty much straight away when he plants a kiss on her.
He says, don't be ridic before that. Don't be ridic.
I need some money.
So
she gives him a tenner.
Oh, no, she says, don't be ridic. And he goes, why, natch, Gloria, natch.
That's when he's walking off, with the money in hand.
And then he falls down the stairs.
Yeah. It's Bim's time to shine, baby.
It's Bim is up. And yeah, he's an interesting character. I like the girl's reaction on the staircase, though. It's really terrible when he falls.
Proper gurning.
All right, so we open up in Hangover Plaza, where I think it's the Bellevue Hospital, and it's a real hospital. They filmed it in the real hospital. So tell me about Bim then. Who is he and what does he do?
Bim is a nurse. He had originally assumed he was a doctor because he's a bloke, because it's 1945. And his turn of phrase is beautiful. And it is rapid, and it kind of takes a completely grim, miserable scenario and kind of puts a bit of comedy into it. Not intentional, I guess, but he gives it color, where all I can see is black and white. No, it's a black and white movie, but it's just shades of misery, this place. And he's the one shining light in the whole thing. And he lays down the scene, basically, you're an alcoholic, you'll be back here because that's what you do. This guy over here, he's been here 47 times. This guy over here, he screams at night. Yeah, don't forget, pink animals won't happen. But, pink elephants, sorry. But little animals, you'll be seeing those guys.
He had so many good sayings, but one of them that stuck in my head was, we took your blood. You got 96 proof blood. It's just, it's fun. So he tells them all the details of what's what you've done, what's happening now, and what will happen, what happened to you. Anyway, shit happens during the night. Everybody's screaming.
He did warn him. Yeah, I don't know. He tries to give him something sedative or something, but he's like, nah, I don't want that. And he's like, are you sure? Delirium is a disease of the night. Oh my God, it is.
Yeah, it's quite... that's when you could have the UFO music.
Yes, because there's a whole lot of screaming. People think the bugs on them.
That guy's in the corner. Yeah, that guy's in the corner. He's in darkness, and he's like... And it's very
I like this scene a lot, actually. It's effective. But yeah, a fair amount would have worked here.
Yeah. So he escapes. He sees a little gap in the defenses, and he escapes.
Yep, out the stairs. Nicks a coat on the way out. Oh, the next morning when he's hanging around waiting for the liquor store to open.
Yeah.
He basically holds the store up.
It's ridiculous. He says, I want that liquor.
And I'm leaving with it one way or another, buddy.
The guy's going,
okay. Here, have your rye, you mentalist.
Yeah.
Nowadays he would have been shot in the face.
I think I remember at this point wasn't Helen sleeping in the stairwell, and the landlady goes, "You here for the man with the drinking problem, whatever?" And she's going blah blah blah, and she goes, "I heard the bottles in the garbage." I thought that was very funny.
Noisy neighbor, love her.
Yeah. This is when he heads back to his apartment, and this is the aforementioned famous mouse in the wall, and then the bat in the mouse in the wall.
It's great.
And he starts screaming.
He gets the DTs. He was warned it was coming.
Yeah.
Didn't listen to Bim, did he?
No. Landlady calls Helen. He's crawling to the door, trying to get them to not come in.
The mouse and the bat, don't go over there.
Yeah. Then he nips off the next morning and takes Helen's coat to the pawn shop. It's like, what the fuck? He's such an asshole. Drunk.
But he doesn't sell it. He trades it. She goes back to the pawn shop to go and try and get it back. Yeah. And the pawn dude is like, no, there's no ticket here. He's not coming back for this. He traded it for something he'd left in before. Which holds bullets, baby.
Yeah. But so, like, Helen chased after him in the rain with no coat. Like, she's so just non-stop supportive of him, even if he's in total lost to the cause.
That's one of my issues with this story. Is her unflagging support. She never loses her cool with him, ever. Where, even though she might keep supporting him, some sort of losing that rag with him is warranted.
I think so. I need a
couple of
bit
slaps
more
across the face or something.
Yeah, because all she does is bend down and gives him a kiss. That's the whole point.
That's not real to me. A slap across the face to try and knock some sense into him would be real.
Motherfucker!
You're so my fucking coat. My favorite asshole.
Yeah. So
I thought that was going to be the nail in the coffin though for that relationship, but it isn't. That annoyed me actually. That's the this and the ending, or this whole ending is just wrong.
There's no conflict between the main characters. Helen and him are.
There's conflict between him and Nate. It's quite good. An interesting dialogue between those two.
It could be. I know we're looking at this with 70-year-old lenses here, but 70 right now. Shit, 80
years.
Good God.
How many fingers of rye have you just had?
Yeah. I think, yeah, but I want a little bit more depth to these relationships and a little bit more conflict, please. I know that's the premise is conflict between him and the booze,
Yeah.
but give me some character development. I really wanted to see Gloria a bit more. Maybe a Gloria Helen sort of clash as well, because he obviously kissed her, and then maybe Gloria would confront Helen and
Yeah,
something would
I
happen
think the biggest
there.
problem is Helen is a 2D character.
Helen's quite flat, yeah. She's a very nice person.
She's a lovely person. She's well, she does everything perfectly, which is the problem. Which is why I like Gloria. She doesn't do everything perfectly. She's
No,
more
she's
real for
interesting.
that fact. There's an arc to her character almost, whereas Helen's just, she's dependable the whole way, which is wrong. That's not human.
And even when Gloria comes to her door, when he leaves, somebody shouts in the background, "Gloria," blah blah blah, and then you're saying, "Oh, she's
Yeah,
living
it's
with
like a mum or
just another
something.
one woman or a mum there." It's like that's interesting. I wanted more of that. I want to know more, and I want to see more
That's quite an
depth.
interesting side of the story we never get to explore.
Yeah, and then something about like Helen works at Time Magazine. Get something there. I don't know, like fucking maybe an opportunity arises where he goes to interview to do an article and blah blah
And he
blah.
blows it because
Something
he's wanker
he
drunk.
blows it and somehow I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. So we're wrapping up the movie and he's writing a suicide note in the bathroom, but Helen arrives. Go, you up to something, mate?
Yeah. I don't like how she dodges the elephant in the room. Not a pink one, but
It's not very well done. This last
no,
conversation.
no. Listen, he's about to do himself in, and you're scared of upsetting him. No, that's not the time.
And she's going, "Oh, here's a little bit of booze left for the baby. So
Yeah.
let's grab some. I'll have one too." And he's going,
But
"Oh, you
then, but
want a
then she
drink?"
does say, "I'd rather have you drunk than dead," which is she
Yes,
finally broaches the subject.
but it's like it's an eerie conversation and it's a bit flat and about she's going, "It's not too late. Do something with your life." Blah blah blah. And Nate knocks on the door and goes, "Here, all right, mate. Here's your typewriter.
Typewriter! Nate to the rescue. This is where
You can do it.
yeah,
Now you know the ending."
yeah. I don't mind this so much that Nate turns up. I do mind that it has such an effect.
Yeah, it's a bit clunky and it's a bit forced. And he chucks the cigarette into the drink and it's like, "Go, Don, you did it."
What I would like to have seen is the typewriter out the window and the gun to the face.
That's probably in the book.
Probably.
Typewriter to the face, gun out the window.
Clunk. Watch that.
Yeah, but we do zoom out of the window, and I think one of the last lines is, "My mind was hanging outside the window." Like he's just sitting there on the bed or something, and it's like that's too quick.
Yep. Yep.
It's too quick of a turnaround. You're an absolute addict. I need something.
And fixed.
Yeah,
Not how
maybe.
it works. That's the most unrealistic part of it. I guess that must have been because they were scared. It's grim, and nobody's going to be happy at the end of it. I think that would be the point of it's a movie about alcoholism.
Yeah.
There's no bloody winning in it. Usually, it's miserable, especially in 1945. The help wasn't really available, so the probability of you coming out the other end of it with a happy story is very unlikely.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me.
Having said that, we have to look back with the lens of the 1940s. It was never done before. Probably, I don't know if anything was done like this before. But I think maybe this was a good sort of reputation, good influence on Whitnall and I. Maybe it's one of those types of movies where it's
There's definitely similarities and parallels here.
yeah.
Obviously, the dialogue in Whitnall and I is superior in many, many ways.
Yeah, but there's certain elements in this story which I find nice and quirky, like Gloria's shortening of the words,
Bim,
Nate, or
Yeah.
Nat.
But there's some very good characters in it. It's just unfortunate it's not the two main characters.
Yeah, I don't appreciate Don's acting. I just don't appreciate. I don't think. Obviously, he had to work on something,
Yeah.
but I wasn't too impressed by it. But he's got the Oscar, and I don't. So
That is true. It did feel a little bit of a caricature of an alcoholic, which is kind of annoying considering it's supposed to be a very serious subject.
Which is probably what they were going for. That's what their impression of alcoholism was back then. Now we know it's a bit more nuanced. We've got Train Spotting and lots of other Sideways and all these other nuanced and layered movies about drinking booze.
I'll admit, Sideways made me want to drink more wine. It didn't have the effect that this movie had on me.
The wineries must have loved that one.
Yeah.
Not like the booze companies back in the 40s not wanting to stop this movie from coming out. This wasn't well received, but then when it was released, it was very popular. It wasn't well received in the pre-screenings, let's say, and it then got very popular very quickly.
It was very different, and I think that's the reason why it was so popular. In fairness, it's quite a brave release.
Yeah, Ray Milland, when he got the Oscar, I think he just went up and went, "Thank you," and then walked off the stage. One of those.
Screw you guys.
Yeah. Like
his for a drink.
Yeah, exactly. His picture on IMDb is just of his character, Don, because he's winking. He
looks pretty drunk in it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, nobody else, there's nothing crazy about anybody else in that cast. I usually write notes and nobody else really went on to, like, obviously they all had good careers and stuff, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I had a click around as well. Nothing exploded.
No.
Nothing too interesting happened.
I am going to be rating it as we go along here, so talk about plot to me.
Plot, I gave 3.25. It's an interesting plot. I probably should rate it more because it's from 1945. You know what? I'm going to say 3.5.
Okay.
It's original, which is a fantastic thing. It really is. So, yeah, I enjoyed the plot. It's tackling a very serious subject, a subject that wouldn't have been something that I would have tackled in 1945 myself because I want to make money.
True.
And the fact that it was a financial success is quite impressive.
Yeah, true. I give it 3. Yeah, it's innovative for its time. I think it's a good movie to start off with if you want to look at the history of booze in cinema before you get into the Whitnell and I sort of realm. Acting, I'm going to give 2.75. Just giving that a bit more than average just because of the content that he had to do. Like Gloria was good, Helen wasn't good, Wick wasn't good, Nat's fine, Bim was very good. So I'm not going to give it that much.
I gave it 3.5. I didn't hate Don nearly as much as you did. I didn't think it was an Oscar-winning performance, not even close. I had issues with Helen's character, Jane Wyman playing her. I think that's the best she could have done, perhaps, considering how flat it was. But yeah, Gloria is fantastic. Bim is fantastic. Nate is fantastic. Thankfully, Nate's in quite a bit of it, so yeah, there was some decent acting in this. It's just not the two main characters.
But I think it's Nat, and I'm not sure if it's Nate. I think it's Nat.
It's not Nat. It's Nat.
It's Nat?
Yeah.
He sort of plays the role as just a bouncer of, hey, stop boozing and stuff like that. Maybe I would like a little bit more of a bit more sage from him.
No, we got that from Bim.
Bim, who wasn't, paid to tell the story of alcoholism to the patients, but he did quite poetically too.
Yeah,
that's probably the most in-depth sort of scene in the movie where Bim is talking.
To what to expect. Yeah, it's
a bit nuanced and it's a bit more.
And the delivery is just fantastic, especially when he asks his name.
See, that's the thing, though. I think Bim and Gloria are very good characters. Everybody else doesn't really have a character. Like Don is obviously an alcoholic, but he's not interesting. And maybe that's reality. Most alcoholics aren't interesting.
I think Don is 1945's concept of an intellectual and a like a Steenbeck sort of character, like a drunken man who's got good education and considering himself a bit of a genius, but he's just a mess type thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit naive how it's written. So perhaps it's the best you can do with what is plopped on the page.
Yep. I'm going to give Sound 1. I think it was very... Sorry, but...
No, I'm not going to complain too much. It's
very
annoying.
unthought about, underthought about. I think, but I still remember it's like, it's like, come on, I don't want to. Give me a piano, jazz soundtrack for alcoholism any day of the week. I don't need flying saucer in the sky.
When he's having a couple of drinks, it should be an enjoyable sort of ditty that's playing in the background because he's enjoying himself. We should be also brought along with that because it's peaks and troughs with alcoholism. It's not just straight to misery because he's drinking. No, it should set the mood, and it doesn't. It's really effing annoying.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
I give it 1.5. It's
1.5.
It's cat.
It's cat.
He's an Irishism.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's like that. And I think this guy used the same theremin in another movie and got an Oscar for it or something in the same... I think he got nominated for 2 Oscars, this one and another movie in the same year, and one for the other one.
Did he come up with the concept that every time I use a theremin, I get an Oscar?
Yeah, it's just like, okay, let me do that for
more
everything.
More theremin, so more cowbell.
Exactly. I'm stuck on production. What did you give production?
I give it 3.25. There was a few elements in it I really liked. The bottle out the window was an interesting touch, and how it was it zoomed in at the start. There was a couple of interesting fades used as well throughout it, especially when it's waking up from hangovers, with hangovers.
And
transitions were quite well done. Kind of felt like you were waking up with a hangover, especially when you woke up and you looked up at the light and the bottle was there. I really liked that. So there was some nice bits in production. Other bits were a bit meh.
Yeah, I think the cinematography was good in parts, but not good enough for me to take note of it in my notes going, oh shit, that was a great angle or whatever. Not like The Servant, let's say, for want of a better example.
Different class.
Yeah, but, 12 years apart or so.
It's not that much, really. Yes,
not that much. Think of it. Although in the annals of cinema history, a lot of technology happens in that 12 or so years.
And there wasn't a war at the time.
No. I wonder what sort of... Were they making this in 1944 near the end of the war, or what?
Don't know.
It was released
I couldn't find that. I did go looking. I couldn't really... No real mention of it.
Yeah, I don't even know, like, back then, how many months did it take to create a movie? Maybe it was only like a couple of months or whatever.
2 weekends.
Yeah, 2 lost weekends. Yeah. So overall, I thought it was an okay movie. It lacked a bit of depth for me. I didn't empathize with the character at all.
That is a big problem, isn't it?
Is it? Do we have to empathize with the main character of every movie?
Well, you either gotta like him or hate him substantially, and I don't either. And Helen's the secondary character.
Yeah,
is somewhat irrelevant because of the flatness of it.
You respect
have to go into
her.
the tertiary characters to find interest.
True. I want to know more about Gloria.
I want to watch a movie about Bim. The Bim show.
Bim, yeah. Bim's alcoholic ward. 20-minute comedy every week.
And here we have the guy screaming in the corner.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
You'd watch the hell out of that. All right, let me dip into the Letterboxd here for any 1-star reviews that the human race gives for it. Let me see if I can find one here. What in the madness did I just watch? I have no idea how this ended up on my list of things to see. Billy Wilder, I guess, but my God, this was shitty. This was a recurring motif of the cigarette being backwards that I enjoyed.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I kind of like that.
That was like, Benda and blah, blah, blah. That happens a couple of times.
Well,
yes, cigarettes backwards is quite good.
Sort of, I have to admit, I used to smoke back in the day, and that happened to me several times when I was drunk, which is it's a nice touch.
Yeah, and the hallucination with the bay bat was cool. Yeah, I think the typo bat. But as a whole, this was shitty, and I hated it.
Harsh. I can understand people hating this. I can. I think there's a lot of redeeming features, but I can understand how it could annoy you. I think if the music could really grate straight away, like, so yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, somebody else said this is a boring movie a slow movie with many dull parts and some scenes that really engage the audience. Blah blah blah. This whole movie was a boring story to begin with. Although the film struggles to keep viewers excited, there were some scenes that had me very engaged. The scene where he is in the hospital and attempts to escape, and the acting was good, and the intense music that went with the scene was good. No. You're wrong. All right, that's let me see. That was 1-star reviews. Some people are weird with their. God, this movie is so sad. A heart-wrenching watch, peppered with levity at times, but almost just as often it's levity that reflects light off the tragedy unfolding, the alcoholism like a runaway train. Time and again, we see the clever maneuvers and tactics, Don Birnam's intelligence hijacked by the addiction. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I never got his intelligence, unfortunately.
Helen St. James, appropriately named. It's so hard watching her love for this man, never wavering despite the impenetrable. There you go. Not as polished as the reviews from journalists, but you get something there.
Yeah.
All right, shall we throw this bottle of booze out the window?
Pour it down the sink and then hide it in the lampshade.
Yeah, let's hide this episode in the lampshade, never to be seen again. All right, well, it's time to head back into the Wild West of the 15K plus movies that exist out there, away from all these listener lists and Oscars, and let's roll the random number generator to see what we get. And we are getting random movie number 3684. 3,680.
That's a reasonably low number.
It is, interestingly enough, it is Them! Exclamation mark from 1954.
Why is it all of our movies from 6 billion years ago?
Well,
Them!
Exactly.
I like the name. I love the name, actually. What the hell is it?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's about giant ants.
I've seen this! I have seen this. It's great. It's really crap. It's one of my 3 o'clock in the morning drunk watching it on a black and white TV when I was a student thing. I remember seeing this one.
No doubt. Its
Channel
summary
4,
from
fantastic.
Metacritic is the earliest atomic tests in New Mexico caused common ants to mutate into giant man-eating monsters that threaten civilization. If we don't get the theremin instrument in this soundtrack,
this is all theremin, baby.
It has a Metascore of 74. It doesn't have a user score. It's TBD. Not enough people have watched this on Metacritic.
Only critics have watched it.
Yeah.
And me.
It's from 1954. It runs for 1 hour and 34 minutes. It is directed by Gordon Douglas, who only has 2 movies under his belt. The other one is called Skin Game. Actors I've never heard of before, I don't think. James Whitmore, Edmund Gwen, Joan Weldon, James Arness, Onslow Stevens.
This wasn't nominated for an Oscar, was it?
You never know. You just never know.
Very surprised.
Anyway, this will be a fun movie to review, I would imagine.
Really looking forward to it. I remember watching this and thinking, this is awful. I love it.
I want an awful sci-fi movie to love.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, great. So that'll be episode 104. If you have not subscribed to us, please do so and share this podcast wherever you have listened and watched us on. And we'll see you in episode 104 for Them! Exclamation point from 1954. Cheerio.
Sure.